Here's a fish. Ooh, that's a good bass, guys. Trying to get me off in the weeds. Good fish, good fish. Oh yeah, you're caught, buddy. You're caught. Nice one, guys. On the little spinner. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that, he nailed that little spinner, guys. Nice. What do we got here? Traps. Really, they're trying to trap beavers out here. Why on earth would they want to do that? Alright, people. Welcome back to Cross Country Bank Angler. As you can see, I've got my hood up. It's a rainy, cloudy, overcast day right now. It's supposed to rain all day. It's mid-October. And, you know, this time of year, when it comes to fishing, especially like the bass fishing, it can be kind of tough around my area. You know, I think when you go online a lot of the time, you know, you see videos about fishing in the fall, and it can get you kind of hyped up. You know, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, you know, the bass are getting more aggressive, they're feeding up, they're, you know, chasing bait fish. You just got to find the bait fish, and you can find bass, and you can you know, cover a lot of water, throw reaction lures, and catch all your fish like that. You know, top water, you know, you're just gonna have a ball out there. But it's usually not that simple in my area. And I think also, if you're a bank fisherman, you know, a lot of that information, you know, the people talking like that are guys with big bass boats that can go out on a huge system and find fish. And that's just a different type of fishing than going out to a pond and fishing from the bank. But, you know, I'm hoping things will be different today. I've really struggled recently with catching fish, or at least getting enough footage for like a good video. Tried going out. Well, I've been traveling, and I tried to go out when I was traveling and didn't catch anything there. Got skunked. More recently, I kind of went back to an old spot that I hadn't fished in a couple years and tried it for bass. You know, threw some big baits out there, and you know, I fished most of the day and only had three little dinks to show for it. You know, smaller, kind of stunted, unhealthy looking fish. But I'm hoping today we'll turn things around. It's like I said, it's rainy, it's cloudy, and sometimes I find that can be really important this time of year. Cloudy conditions can give you an advantage sometimes. You know, low light conditions, you know, the fish are more likely to be fooled by your lures. There's less light penetration. They're not quite as wary. The fish tend to, sometimes they will go out and actively hunt a bit more when it's raining or when it's cloudy. So we'll see how things go. You know, this lake or this little pond, you know, I fished it several times the last year or two, and it's kind of, you know, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. You know, it seems like in the spring it really can be excellent if you hit it on the right day, and in the early summer. But you know, I went out here in the fall last year and caught a few fish. Nothing crazy, but there is definitely a video from that day. So check that out if you're curious about, you know, fall fishing and what can it entail. But you know, today I mostly go for bass. There's also crappie and pickerel in here. So I think that's kind of what we're targeting right now, just some game fish. You know, I just want to feel a strong fight on the end of the line. It's just been a while since I've caught anything decent, so that's the plan today. I'm going to go out here and see if these overcast, rainy conditions can make a difference for us. You never know until you throw. So, let's go. Alright guys, so I've got the bait finesse system set up right now. Gonna see make a few, just start off with a couple of casts with it and see what we can do out here. The rain is kind of intermittent. It's not super heavy, which is good. The water here is up as well, I've noticed. You know, just like a little bit. I guess we have gotten some rain the last, last few weeks. You know, we've gotten a couple of rainy days, so maybe that's helped fill it up a little bit. I've got an inline spinner tied on right now. I haven't caught anything on an inline spinner here before, but with these cloudy conditions, I thought I'd give it a try. This is a brass model that I made myself. Call it the eye spot spinner because I got this little eye sticker on the blade. It's a little corroded and tarnished, but I think it can still catch. There's a fish. First cast. It's not big. It's a bluegill. Okay, that wasn't what I was expecting. I mean, I figured there were bluegill in here, but this is actually the first bluegill I've caught from this pond, so sort of a surprise. There he is, guys, just a little guy. First cast, so hopefully that's a good sign and not like bad luck or something. Spinner weighs about 1/8 of an ounce. You can cast it really nicely on this BFS setup. Got some new line spooled on this reel right now. It's 7-pound test mono. Here's a fish. Ooh, that's a good bass, guys. Trying to get me off in the weeds. Good fish, good fish. Oh yeah, you're caught, buddy. You're caught. Nice one, guys. On the little spinner. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that, he nailed that little spinner, guys. Nice. Now we're talking. Finally felt good to get a hit from a decent fish. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks since I've caught anything nice. Check out this bass, guys. Beautiful fish. He's probably a pound, maybe 1.5 pounds. Out here in the rain. Maybe this will be good conditions for this lake. Good day to fish. Didn't take long, did it? We caught a bluegill and now we got a nice bass on the spinner. Awesome. All right, let's get this guy back. So like I was kind of saying before, you know, in years past, you know, this time of year, when it's otherwise shut down, if you go out in the rain, sometimes the fish are a little more active. See a fish. There he goes. That was a really nice bass, healthy bass too. This place, it's just not a very big pond, but it can produce some decent fish. That guy really gave us a decent fight too. We're reeling it nice and slow when that guy hit it too. Sometimes that's the key if you're fishing a little spinner. All right, people. So I'm fishing with bait casting setup today. I've got a new rod that I'm trying out today. This is the Graphite series from Bass Pro Shops. This is my main spinning rod, actually, is this same model, but this is just like the bait casting version. I've got the old Spartacus 2 paired with it. This is a 6'6", medium heavy, rated from lures to 3/8 to 1 ounce. And I want to point out something about this reel too. I did a review on this, and it was mostly positive, but another issue has kind of come up since then. That has to do with this side plate. So there's a little switch here that you're supposed to use to open the side plate, and that stopped working anymore. The side plate does not stay totally locked in place. So you can see here, without using the switch, I can move it out of position. Now this side plate is not like loose, where it feels like it's going to fall off, but that switch not working, you know, it's a small piece, I guess it's plastic, and that's kind of something that I've struggled with a little bit, is opening up that side plate. And I think just in the attempt to open it one time, maybe I damaged that switch, that catch. So just something to be aware of with this reel. You know, it's a $50 reel, so nothing fancy, but that is a slight issue with it that has kind of come up recently. So I'm throwing the Eden Crazy Crawler. Never actually tried this lure in the rain, so we'll see if we can get a fish to react to it. I don't know if top water is going to be the move today or not. We definitely had something follow the spinner near the surface, so there's a chance. Just kind of depends on how aggressive the fish are in here right now. I went with this 6'6" length. I think it's a better, you know, there are just times when you're on the bank and you want to maneuver around trees and stuff. It's a little easier to, you know, navigate with a 6'6" sometimes. A bit handier for bank fishing. You know, I might take this combo out kind of in more remote areas where I'm a little more, you know, it's more of a concern. Oh, something pretty small came out and tried to get it. There's a fish. Hung me up in the weeds. Another bluegill on the spinner. There he is. Okay, well, spinner is definitely working. He hit it multiple times. Little one, about 4 inches. Thank you, buddy. Keeping the rod tip up so we can run shallow without getting caught on too many weeds. There's something. Oh, little bass, I think. Yeah, there we go. It's another bass. Not big. But it's another fish. Here we go. Little one. Thank you, buddy. So this spinner is definitely working. Let me give you guys another look at it real fast. There she is. Just she's got kind of this longer shaft on it. Gives it a slightly longer profile than most spinners. Kind of do that just to change it up a little bit from a regular spinner, and just hoping, you know, that might draw bigger fish, but you can see smaller fish like it too. Like I said, this is a hand-built spinner. Check the description of the video if you want to pick one up for yourself. I have a couple of these kind of long style spinners on my lure store site, so check it out if you're interested. It's definitely a fish catcher. All right, people, so we swapped over to this chartreuse and black skirted spinnerbait. Dual willow leaf blades, hammered willow leaf brass. It's definitely a color pattern that, this is another lure I built. 1/4 ounce spinnerbait here, pretty small, not super big blades, but it's definitely more for, low light conditions, rainy days, dirty water. And they were reacting to that inline spinner, so I thought maybe this bulkier profile with some flash to it, that's vibration and flash, will get us a bigger bite. But there are days when the inline spinner is special, and they'll hit that more than just our average spinner bait. So we'll see. Our trailer, we got a Bass Pro Shop Speed Shad, that little swim bait that has really done well this year and has done well most years, really. So definitely my preferred trailer. Here's a fish. He smoked it. It's a bass. Nice, that didn't take long, guys. That didn't take long. Come here, fish. Check that out, guys. Nailed the spinnerbait. Didn't take long at all. Heck yes. All right. Not quite as big as that first one. Maybe, where that other one was around maybe a pound and some change. This one was maybe a pound or just under. But that's a good one to catch on the spinnerbait. If I can find a good spinnerbait bite, I'm happy, you guys. That's a fun way to catch bass. Let's let this guy go. All right, see ya, buddy. All right, people, so we got a couple of little reactions on the crazy crawler, but no fish, nothing committed to it. So we switched to this Whopper Plopper 110. This is a lure that worked at this spot last year, but it really hasn't been very good this year so far. I mean, I caught one fish on it, and it was an amazing catch. It was a bowfin, awesome blow up, really exciting. But every other time I've tried this thing, it's like barely gotten any kind of reaction. So I've never tried it in the rain before, though, so I don't know. We'll see. Maybe there's a topwater bite here, maybe there isn't. I figure if this doesn't work, then I'll go to like a slower, less aggressive topwater. But we may be better off just focusing on subsurface today. But everybody throws some kind of plopper nowadays, it seems like. It's a very popular lure, probably the most popular topwater that's come out in the last couple decades or however long it's been around. So the fish, they learn it, and they get accustomed to it. It's a distinctive commotion that this lure makes, so they can get accustomed to it. And that's really the biggest weakness of the lure, is everybody uses it. All right, people, so at this point in the day, it had really started raining hard, and the built-in microphone on the GoPro got a little bit of water in it, so the sound here is just total gibberish. We've been fishing for maybe another hour or so, hadn't really gotten any more bites. We're just moving down the bank here. There's a lot of lily pads on the edge here at this pond, so we start casting that spinnerbait a few more times there. Actually getting a little backlash as we're casting here. You can see there's some water on the lens. Unfortunately, it really was raining a lot heavier. And then we get another strike. It really had been a while. I was close to giving up, and then we hook into a nice fish here. And this was probably the most interesting catch of the day, in my opinion. It actually wound up being a chain pickerel instead of a largemouth bass, which is what we've mostly been catching before, along with some bluegill. But this was a a pretty nice pickerel. This might be my biggest of the year this year. I really haven't caught, I've caught several pickerel this year, but not a lot of really big ones. But this one was very solid. I would say in like the 18 to 20 inch range, probably. This pond produced my personal best pickerel, so I know that there are, some good ones in here, a good population of healthy sized fish. So not a total surprise to catch this guy, but definitely a nice bit of variety after catching the bass today. I think chain pickerel are a fun fish to catch. A lot of bass fishermen don't really like them because they can, bite through your line, or they got the sharp teeth. They're a little more difficult to handle. Slimier in a way than bass. But I mean, look at that fish, guys. That's a beautiful one. I love that those colors, that pattern that they have, the chain pattern. It's really a unique look, just a cool camouflage tone to this fish here. Really a nice one. Put up a decent fight too on that spinnerbait, that hand-built spinnerbait. Just getting it back into the water here. It did take sometimes pickerel you got to give them a little bit more time to recover, in my experience. So, we cast around a few more times with the spinnerbait. We make another cast with the plopper here on our other setup. And something a little just frustrating happens, and also exciting. We get a strike, and this big old bass slings the lure right out of his mouth. That would have definitely been the big fish of the day if we kept him hooked, guys. That was probably like a 3 to 5 pound bass, somewhere in that range. So, bit of a disappointment there. Needless to say, we did not throw topwater a whole lot more for the rest of the day. All right, people. So we keep working our way down the bank, throwing the spinner, and we miss another fish here. A little disappointing. I don't really know. I mean, usually I really don't have a whole lot of trouble with my hookups, but I guess everyone has their off days. They're when the luck's against you, or the fish are just hitting a little funky. And that one, once again, we tried to get a hook set. I guess we just weren't setting quite hard enough, because he immediately came up and shook that bait out, and it looked like the tail had gotten folded over the hook, so maybe that kind of blocked the hook from sort of penetrating as well. I'm not entirely sure. The bass just leapt out of the water after the lure, guys. There's a fish. Gotcha, buddy. Alright, guys. Decent bass. I'm sure y'all saw that one just leap out of the water trying to grab it. Not by, because it's usually super shallow, but this guy was sitting around this drain right here, waiting for something to swim by. That's a solid fish. He wants to curl up for some reason. But that's not bad, guys. Similar to the last bass that we caught, which was a while ago, actually. But there we go, about a pound. All right, people. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap things up here. You know, it's been a cloudy, rainy day. It's still like misting a little bit. You know, we went out here in these kind of unusual conditions in the fall. You know, this is a time of year, like I said in the intro, it can be kind of unpredictable, difficult to pattern the bass in ponds this time of year around my area, you know, for the bank anglers out there. But I think, you know, these conditions, if you know, when it's a rainy day in the fall and you're willing to brave it and get out, I think they can help stimulate the fish to feed just a little bit more and maybe give you a better chance of catching fish. You know, today it wasn't like an incredible day, right? Some decent bass, some small, and you know, some smaller bass and bluegill as well, throwing the BFS, that little spinner. And really the lure of the day were spinner type baits, you know, the inline spinner and spinner baits. You know, we tried a couple of different spinner baits today, all hand built lures today. So if you liked the look of any of the lures, any of the spinner type lures that were used in this video, you should check out my lure shop that's linked in the description of every video. You can pick up some that are very similar to what I was using today. I think the highlight of the day was definitely that chain pickerel. You know, that was the biggest pickerel that I've caught this year. He was kind of sitting in those pads and we were reeling the spinnerbait along the edge of the pad and he smashed it. That was nice to see. You know, I knew that this lake had pickerel, biggest ones this year, and probably the healthiest chain pickerel I caught from this pond too. I do like this little pond. It's, you know, if you've watched some of the other videos, you probably looks a little familiar. The water was definitely up today, which was a bit kind of interesting, just a little bit different. But good variety of species in here, which is always interesting, especially for a small body of water. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you should, you know, you made it this far, you should definitely subscribe to the channel. We got weekly fishing videos dropping on cross-country bank angler, bank fishing, lure fishing, bass fishing, multi-species, ultralight fishing, bait finesse system, you know, wide variety of different kind of techniques here on the channel. So with that being said, I hope to see you next time, and thanks for watching. Peace.